loves to watch. She loves to watch. She loves to watch.
Hi, are we on? I'm Art Fein. Welcome to Little Arts Poker Party, coming to you from Hollywood by the Sea. Today we're going to cover a lot of important rock stuff and rock media. We wanted to get Bob Hilburn on here from the LA Times, but he's already been snatched away by the, what's it called? The Rock and Roll Evening News. So, almost as good, we got Todd Everett. Todd, you're with the LA Herald Examiner, aren't you?
The Herald Examiner.
That's a fine paper. And you in there every day? I understand you write weekly.
Seems like that.
Parts of him are in there every day.
People tell me you write weekly. Is that because you're in one every 7 days, or is it something else?
Something like that,
I
yes.
see. Okay, well, next to him, and the two people next to him, constitute two whatevers of a band called the Turtles.
Siamese singers.
How many halves? Two halves of the Turtles. Let me get it right now. This is Mark. Volman. Welcome, Mark.
Hi.
And Howard Kaylan.
We cover the airwaves.
We're gonna talk about all kinds of junk which we haven't planned whatsoever. Now I've been looking through the Flo and Eddie. They're also known as Flo and Eddie. Which one's Flo? That's Flo. Mark's Flo, and Howard's Eddie by default. I'm looking through their history, which is part of. How many volumes of records do you have out on Rhino Records right now?
More than Katrina Valente.
No, we
That's
got-
how many.
We have a lot. I don't know.
A lot on Rhino
She had
Records.
The Breeze and I. Was there? Yeah. Oh, okay.
Rhino Records has issued quite a few Turtles albums. About what, 11 or
15.
something like
22.
that.
Yeah.
And if
Yeah.
they
It's
think
sort of
it's-
like Fantasy with Credence.
It is a lot.
But they're not all the same record like
we-
Fantasy keeps putting
And
out.
we get paid for them, which
That's the
is
difference,
a
yeah.
big difference than
But the
fantasy.
new one I saw, the newest Turtles, I think it said never before in this order. Is that?
Yeah, we've changed like orders, and there's a lot. It's funny.
We
You
pulled
go,
down the left channel, we re-released it again. We don't care. And we put a different cover on it. That's so important, you young bands.
Finding
Take
Harold,
pictures.
Rhino Records gave us a big ability to go in and listen to a lot of stuff that we found better tapes of. And you do
Other groups.
Yeah, we're doing our tunes, and so we. I don't know. They moved my mic around. I don't know. They're getting just my throat right in here.
There was an album on one of your former labels, or one of the former labels you were on, White Whale, which was a sort of this anthology album, only they didn't tell you who was on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
On White Whale?
It says contains the following songs, and I think there's some Lyman Sabell stuff, and or maybe just stuff that came in over the transom at Leela Seif's office, and they put out on this.
They had a great band from Berkeley, California, in 1965 called The Answer. These guys were unbelievable, and they were. They lasted 2 records, and White Whale was a small label, and they had what was that? Beautiful People, Kenny Odell.
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest.
Next Plane Alone.
They had Stuck on You, April and Nino.
Come on. They had in the year 25, 25.
He's lying.
Sorry,
now.
sorry.
Come on, that
He's
was.
lying
They
now.
released the album.
No, that was okay. That was the album I was talking about. Then Zager and Evans were on, or 2525 was on RCA, but the anthology album had some Zager and Evans cuts on it.
I'm telling you,
one cares
Zager and
about
Evans
this
got
stuff.
re-released
No
on
one
White
cares.
Whale. I wonder where their Zager
I
is
saw
today.
Zager and Evans at the Greek Theater once. They were probably one of the worst acts I've ever seen in my life.
Which one was Zager?
I can't remember.
I never liked Dale Evans anyway.
I mean, they were trying to be Simon and Garfunkel. Real
Cyborg.
lofty aspirations.
So you guys have been touring as the Turtles forever, right? Or did you stop for a while?
We ceased to exist as the Turtles officially in 1970 amidst a bunch of litigations that didn't end until 4 years later. And at that point, we had already been with Frank Zappa and the Mothers, and this very building was their headquarters. And that was about it for us. We worked as Flo and Eddie. We put out 2 records on Warner Brothers and 2 on Columbia that were as highly touted as the later Katrina Valente records. And after doing a little bit on radio here in town on KMET and KROQ, we did some Canadian television and wrote scripts and screenplays. And somebody came to us just a couple of years ago and said, "You guys ought to be Turtles. The 60s are back." And we said, "Prove it," and they did.
Huh.
We took a Turtle tour out called Happy Together in '84, and it lasted until '85. And now we're touring half and half this year, about 50% of the year. We can do about 16 weeks a year out of California if we want to. And then we do about 4 weeks of the year just in Lake Tahoe, working for Harrah's Hotel in Lake Tahoe and Reno. But it's the tours. We find when we come home, we work on a lot of other projects, doing some writing. We wrote a couple of scripts that are being held, and we're working on a bunch of stuff. We really try to stay pretty low key. We have no press agent. We have no manager. We have no record label.
Really
Wait a second. Low profile doesn't seem to be what I remember from you guys. I recall being on the radio a lot in the 70s.
Well, I think
Very
until
funny.
76, we really had a lot of confidence in ourselves. Columbia Records did a good job of shooting that right down. I'll never forget one coming back at Christmas, and Howard will vouch for this. We came for Christmas. They gave us $35,000 guarantee to go out on a tour, to back our tour, to support our tour. And we came home a week before Christmas, and they call this collusion, in case there's anybody who wants to study law. They brought us into the offices without our manager. And they said, gee, the record's not doing very well, and you guys really could use the money. Why don't you let us buy out what we guaranteed you at the beginning of the tour by giving you and Howard cash, $5,000 apiece, and wipe out.
You don't have to pay your guys. You don't have to pay your manager. Let's just keep it between us.
So
okay?
Howard and I said, yeah, it sounds like a great idea. We went out of the office and we looked up the word, I think, collusion. And collusion, and so he went into Columbia and threatened to sue Columbia for like billions. And then about a month later, the two guys who were running the part of the label that we were at were gone. And so was our manager. And we were off the label, and we haven't been on record since. And I'm not sure
We go on record saying that we haven't been on record since.
it's really scary, the record industry. And then when we got in radio, we noticed how they sold records was interesting. You know, like bringing you 19 Steely Dan albums and one Thomas Jefferson K album, and they'd say, hey, the Steely Dan's the big push, but if you find something on the Tommy K album, let us know. And Tommy K was a friend of ours. Cost him $85,000 just to make the cover.
Not only that, these artists, they put their lives, their souls, their autobiographies into these songs. They're waiting
books.
to be heard. Everything, their life essence in there. And if some guy goes, I don't like the cover, you know, send the disc jockey in Kansas City some steaks. Maybe you'll play it, some frozen steaks.
I have a tape. One of these nights, I swear, I'm going to bring you a tape, and if you want, we'll just run it. It's a tape from the Elektra promo man in the field calling somebody at Elektra Records, telling him that we can get Carly Simon on the radio with 24 steaks. Not only that, but that the airplane trip, right? I'm not making this up. Flight to Hawaii worked for him and his wife. I mean, this is unbelievable. And so these people making records today, you know, they think their art is just going to like, it hasn't really changed. I don't know do you call it payola or if you just call it
So you're saying they ran out of steaks when your record came out? I mean,
I say that's why we got out of making records.
They sent tofu when our record
and
came out.
our records came out, they
the
sent
steaks were too high.
Gumby rubber things to these people, and nobody play our records.
We should point out, of course, that these guys aren't talking about any record companies as such. They're talking about independent promotion men hired by the
That's
record
right.
companies.
Of
The record
course.
companies had no idea at all what these
And when he
heinous
says
folks were
Columbia, he
doing.
means any record company that starts
Not
with a C. It's
affiliated,
just, you know.
not affiliated with Columbia School of Broadcasting.
And all of those, none of those people are
Can you
working with the
believe
labels
those
anymore.
things?
Anymore.
I mean, now you get these girls selling disc jockey schools. We can make you as big as Mary Turner. Yes, you too can marry the guy who owns Westwood One.
Well, it's kind of nice. It's going for your MRS degree in broadcasting, I think.
I don't
That's
know.
very good.
You see why we got out? Honestly, we got out
We tell
because
the truth. We're scared.
we tried. My mic. I swear.
Maybe you could actually.
I could take this off and clip it to my other shirt.
Make noise.
No, you know what it was? I didn't want to show the orange shirt because you were purple and you were already kind of a semblance of orange.
Yes, but I'm
color
blue
television.
here.
It's
We'll
kind of
stroll. This'll
E
be
crew.
nice.
It's kind of an E crew.
Okay.
How's that? Is that good?
Yeah, I feel better now.
Yeah.
I feel-
Still am a real ball player.
In fact, this is the guy that Don Henley goes to get his shirts.
Gil Lamb, yeah.
Oh, it's not Junior Gilliam? It's
No.
Gilliam?
Junior
Gilliam.
Gilliam, that's good. That was good. Number 19.
Listen, you know, most people, I was going to comment on something when I haven't seen you guys in a while, and even looking through this. Now, like most people start off their lives skinny, and then as they grow older, they get heavier. You guys started out heavier and got skinnier.
Well, we've just written a book about dieting and rock, too, because we've noticed a lot of rock people as they get older getting that way.
This is the rock and
It's
roll
not meant for
diet.
you, Spanky. But I think what happens is that people just, you know, there's a whole kickback now on this anti-drug thing, and that's having a lot to do with weight reduction. I think you're going to see a lot of people shooting right up.
A kickback or an offshoot?
Well, an offshoot
A
of,
viaduct.
yeah, it's kind of a small
It's
tube.
kind of a feedback and echo from the David Crosby effect, I think.
yeah.
That we
You saw David.
Yeah.
And I saw him live the other night at a party for the Monkees, and David looks, you know, from here up, he's incredible. He looks really good and healthy. And I wonder what happened in prison. Usually you see guys go into prison, they work out, they get healthy, and David went to prison and he became in charge of like the pork segment of the of prison. He was in charge of the
He got
meat
kitchen
department.
duty.
Kitchen duty.
okay.
That's what
Maybe
he
it
did.
was to discourage
Maybe
rape.
he ate the whole kitchen. I don't know. That was it. There was to discourage him from eating drugs. He ate all of the St. Louis Cardinals. I don't know. He looks big. David, we're working on it. I told him my 15-day plan. And, you know, it's a 15-day plan. You go on and it's
Guaranteed weight loss.
Can we weed this? Is there some truth in it? The truth is you have a book out? No.
No, we are
You have
doing.
a plan.
No, well, we have a book out and we have a plan. And in the book, there is a chapter about losing weight. And we have lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Together, we've lost about 100 pounds. I was 225, and Howard was also
Right up there, babe.
yeah. And we lost a lot. Touring helps. You go out on the road. You can't eat anything on the road. Let's be honest. Holiday Inns. Wendy's has a salad bar. It's rubber. Come on, Todd. You've been to it.
Oh, yeah,
And,
you don't know where the people have been that have just come from that salad bar, and they put back the forks, and oh, come on.
Going on the
man,
road,
don't
you
do
realize
that.
there's a whole new audience of kids looking up at you, and you don't want to look like Terry Kirkman from the association. Let's be honest. And
Well, it's hard to miss him.
yeah.
Terry, you and Spanky should maybe like get
You
together
know,
and
me
form
and-
your own club.
Me and Howard, we've always never tried to fit, you know, what people thought of us, and people always thought we don't have a PR agent. Bobby Cowan doesn't handle us. We're not managed by
Anyone.
Kenny, the guy, the hands across. They didn't ask us to hold our hands across Monrovia, Pacoima, or anywhere. No one talks to us. We're old. We're in the 60s. Andy Taylor's my friend. I told you that, right? He's one of the guys in the 80s who knows us. He was in Flock of Seaweed or what? I don't know.
The other,
Duran.
101 haircuts. No.
101 hair. Duran. We know them so well. We just call them Duh. We just,
It's because they're such fans of T-Rex. They have all your
that's
records.
the whole thing.
That's exactly
Andy
what
owned
Is it
those
really?
early records when he was like 9.
Wait a
He was-
second. What's the connection on T-Rex?
well,
These guys sang on
we
T-Rex
sang on all the
records.
T-Rex stuff. Roy Thomas Baker, who was producing Andy Taylor after Power Station, was brought in to do the project. He had worked with us as an engineer when Tony Visconti produced T-Rex, and we
Roy
sang on
was
that
just a
stuff
little
in England.
engineer, 29.
Well, he was a little. He got big. Roy. Oh, okay. But I'm saying, you know, that he brought us in initially because Andy was such a big T-Rex fan, and the vocals on the T-Rex records were used so distinctly, almost as instruments rather than voices, very nasally and high.
In
background
England,
parts.
Mark Bolan has much of the charismatic
Oh, I thought
effect
they
that.
hired you because they got your names wrong.
Oh no, no.
Mark Volman, yeah.
Mark is much like the Jim Morrison over effect in England because he died in a crash very young in his career and was very popular. He has an awful lot of fans over there who are still buying Mark Bolan records by the millions right now.
So the Andy Taylor record, Take It Easy from American Anthem, that was a hit, was not so much a rip-off, because I wouldn't have participated in a rip-off, but it was a tribute, and as such, I was really pleased to see it work on a hit level. You know, it's
Now, wait a
good.
second. There's an Andy Taylor record, and you were on it, and it was a hit. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It was a pretty good size hit. I think he sold 200,000 or 300,000 records. It made him a record deal. If
Are
having
you
a-
have a continuing association, or you were the guest stars on this?
guest stars, I guess
That's
you'd say,
good.
yeah.
That's good. We're on his new album, though.
Well, not unlike the
good
Zappa Association, right? I mean,
I
you
was
were the
supposed
guests.
to-
I mean,
Not unlike the Springsteen record we sang on Hungry Heart, and that was you know, because Bruce was a big fan of the 60s and knew the Turtles, and we went to Cleveland to see Bruce one night and ended up singing on stage with him backing Ronnie Spector, which is just an incredible tape I have, a 1595 to Floyd. And you can, you know, it's interesting because I have a lot of people who are fine. You know the amount of
I
bootleg
smell
albums.
steaks. Do you smell steaks?
We're near Denny's. It's
Oh.
right down the street.
You know,
They
they-
pipe right in here.
Bruce found out how many copies Dylan had sold of that anthology, so he's putting out his own for Christmas.
Is he really?
5-record Bruce Springsteen live. from 1975 through the last year's tour.
Maybe we're on it. That would be
It could
great.
be, yeah, I hope so.
Pay us, Bruce.
Incidentally, this office we're talking about in Communicom in Hollywood. Now, you were telling me that when this same building was the Frank Zappa or Herb Cohen offices,
This
right?
right here, we rehearsed all of
Zappa's
200
too.
motels. We did all of the rehearsals for the live Fillmore East Mud Shark
I
and
like my new car.
the pop star and the groupie garbage that we did in there. This was Stevie Wonder used to rehearse here. Frank used to drive the recording truck right up in the back, and he would record our rehearsals so he could make fun of us and keep us here crying late into the night.
He's a great guy.
Yeah,
Hi, Frank. How you doing?
And it's funny because today we're going to a lawsuit meeting about the Frank Zappa, and here we are sitting in his old offices too, because the mothers are suing Frank for.
I understand that Frank, someone is bandying about on a Cindy or a network level, a late night talk show for Frank. That would be very interesting. You know, you put him next to George Duke, it's like Brenner and Preston.
Yeah, you
It's
got
close, isn't it?
Yeah,
Very close.
excellent version.
Actually, there's a little something in the middle out here. When you walk outside, there's the area which is not enclosed. What do you call
Little
that?
courtyard.
Patio, courtyard.
Courtyard,
yeah,
yes.
courtyard. Now, you're telling me that fans were before you came in. They were telling me about how fans used to express their admiration for Frank.
One
Throwing
afternoon.
bottles over the
Oh,
wall.
one afternoon we
How
had
do
this
they know?
enormous, like, Sparklets bottle you'd bouncy in here. I mean, it was incredible.
They knew.
And the manager chased the kid out in the street, and I mean, this history in this place is unbelievable. The things that the groups that used to rehearse would lock out the place, and the things that took place in the back of this building are unbelievable.
It's like Communicom
We
scraped the bathrooms very
we
carefully
shot,
before moving in here and
we did a-
financed the whole renovation.
Good thing.
We did an album cover for a reggae album. We went to Jamaica in 1981. We became big fans of reggae, and these people got the money together to send me and Howard to put our sweet little voices on top of this strictly roots reggae. We co-produced the album with Errol Brown and Chinna Smith from Soul Syndicate.
What's the band?
The band was a conglomeration. We put the band
the band
together.
together in Jamaica.
Family Man Barrett played bass and
We Are the
Chin
Rock's
on
the
guitar.
Man? It's like
Yeah, Rocksteady with Flo and Eddie was the name of the album. Rhino actually is coming out with a repackaged Prince Flo and Jai Edward I. Side one only. You can get side two coming out in March. That's good. I would have to use that stuff because first. It seems like that, doesn't it? That they're just releasing like Bobby Fuller's B-sides this week, and then
They got a big catalog.
You know what we
They're
met?
Smart guys.
we met in 1962, and my parents used to have one of these funny, what do you call those things they sell at like Kmart, you know, in the bedroom, you know, where you put in the corner grouping and the beds slide in and only
That's
half.
a corner group.
And half of it goes in and the other half doesn't go in, and you've got
It's a
half a
corner
bed.
group. It's two beds and they fit together under a little table. in the
Right,
corner.
there's
It's a
the
corner
lamp.
group.
It's a corner group.
It's like for a den. It costs like $99. Sears. It's a
1962, we were like 15 years old. We used to like come over to my parents' house when they were like asleep, and we'd like smoke joints and wear headphones and listen to like Louis Prima and Keely Smith
Now
on
you're
the
talking.
That was the
headphones.
stuff.
And
You know there's a new Louis Prima album out on Rhino?
No, I didn't
I didn't
know
know
that.
that.
Yeah.
was like
New, when you say new, does that mean new songs?
No,
or
it's
old Louis?
Same old stuff, but with brand new liner
I know
notes by
Sandy.
Little
Liner
Art.
notes.
Sam
Little Art.
Butera.
Yeah,
No.
that's right. Don't you love him?
The Wildest, my favorite album ever
Call It
made.
the Wildest?
No,
No,
The Wildest,
The Wildest,
with him
there's two
on
of
the
them.
cover, and he does, besides Gigolo on that album, he does a version of that Old Black Magic on that record with Keith. I saw
which
them
is on the
live.
Rhino album.
I
Big
saw
hit.
them
That was a
live.
big hit.
You did.
I saw Louis and
Old Black Magic,
Keely
baby.
live as an opening act in Las Vegas to the Ritz Brothers.
Don't holla.
Harry Ritz.
So you guys based your act on the Prima show,
Well,
right?
I think both Howard and I
lot
grew
of it.
up a lot. Our parents collected a lot of the old style entertainment, and still the Turtles show. I think one of the reasons our show is still out, and I mean, last week we did 5 shows of over 20,000 people, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that we are known a lot for our in-person live
We've
show.
never been bigger bigger as far as drawing power than we are now after not releasing a record in 15 years.
So what's the current package? The happy
Just
to get.
think, if we don't
last,
put another one
next
out
year,
for 15 years.
last
That's what
year.
Mickey Dolenz said.
Yeah.
Next year we're
Yeah.
talking about another package.
Oh, so you're
next
going
year.
out right now as the Turtles. Last year
This
you wanted
year
a
we've-
Happy Together tour with a bunch of other people.
This
Right.
year, we've actually done a few dates as a tour called A Night of California Dreamin', which has starred the Mamas and Papas with us, the Byrds, and Scott McKenzie. And we've done some dates this summer with that tour. We've also played some with Chuck Berry and Tommy James and the Shondells. There are some great 60s acts to see, some that do live up to the standards of good professional performing acts.
Is Tommy James still real good?
Tommy's act is a good show.
That
He's
crowd.
a real
He gets
good
down
show.
in the audience and makes them all
He's
crazy.
an
Outlaw on
original.
Fantasy. God, what was that? 10 years ago, 15 years ago, and I saw
His
he
hits.
played the whiskey, or not the whiskey, the troubadour. He's a great band.
Did he have the big pompadour hair then?
Well, now he looks like a wrestler with the white hair and the real
It's
white.
like one of the
heavy-
hullabaloos.
Yeah, he was always the
The
weirdest
Wild
looking guy.
Things. Remember the Wild Things?
with the
They had the giant hair.
On Electra.
That's right. They were on Electra.
Steaks.
Well, we're talking about club lingerie. We're talking about club lingerie in Hollywood, which used to be the Red Velvet. Now, you told me you played there.
Tony
What
Ferrara's
year did
Red
you play
Velvet, 1965.
64 going into 65.
Right, we played there on with Sonny and Cher. They were the closing act, and the Kinks were we played with Sonny and Cher. We were the backup band for Sonny and Cher.
They were Sonny and Sherry.
Right, it was spelled
Really?
wrong.
This was right after Anthony and Cleopatra.
So it was
Was it
before they
before?
were big.
Right.
Right,
Because
before
I
they
Got
had
You
just-
Babe was out, but the label, if I'm not mistaken, and I don't know, said Sonny and Sherry because their billing at the Red Velvet was that.
And the Kinks. The Kinks were at the Red Velvet that night too,
Kinks at
and we
this
sat
dumpy
about
little
4
mob
feet away.
Club. I'm sorry. But it was then, anyway, a dumpy little mob. Now, of course, it's updated and wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, great place. Steaks.
Of course, Art has a show at the lingerie, don't you?
Once in a
Art?
while.
You have a show
Is
at
that
the
that famous rockabilly
That's the one.
Wednesday night?
You have to fight your way in on those nights.
Well, I
Oh,
heard
we
about
heard
those.
about that. We were
Yeah.
going to be coming down there, but we had like a Nick Adams film festival we were going
No,
to
well, you
that
know,
night.
I sweep up at the Central after 2, so it's hard for
So
me
we
to
really
get over.
don't do much.
Keith told me all about you, though. He said,
No,
"Whoa, whoa."
we tour 6 months a year, and then the rest of the time, I don't know if we can say this and have any credibility with our underground fans, but we have an office at the Miss Universe Productions now, Howard and I, and we are doing projects for Miss Universe, Miss Teen USA, and Miss USA. I guess you'd say in the world of marketing and a lot of ways. We're working in a lot of areas
So
over
do you
there.
guys dream up the talent competition?
As a matter of fact, no.
You say,
They
you, Miss
rejected
Georgia,
some
you
of
shell peas, you
Boy,
play the flute,
that's
you
great.
do this.
Our talent ideas were rejected. We had some great, bizarre skill tests. Let's see what you can do there, Miss Australia.
Actually,
Land
they
down
are
under.
moving in the area of television production, and so
It's
we like
legit.
that.
It's
Now,
parallel.
you said you weren't Turtles for 4 years in the early 70s because of litigation. And I also understand that this is pretty good, get into the fact that you own your records, which in fact you didn't buy to begin with. In other words, you were paid like an artist told to record and then recorded on White Whale.
Most 60s acts don't own their
Most acts don't. own
most
their
acts,
stuff.
right?
So-
And we wouldn't have either had our original contract been honored to this day, but when we went in 1970 and sued our record company and 4 years later won the suit, they really didn't have a lot of money to give us, but they did have the name Turtles and the master recordings, and that we retained to this day.
Does the
all-
label own the name Turtles?
No, all labels own the names.
But they owned us individually and collectively. The name
That's
was up
part
in
of
the air.
the,
They could have fought for that had we
Yeah.
not registered the name and probably owned it.
It's just like the Beatles when Apple and all of that went on. The Beatles had to go in and buy the name Beatles back because there was a situation that took place in a book called Apple to the Core. It explains, much like the Turtles story, the Turtles are signed individually and collectively, and when we broke up, the label came back and sued us for breaking up without their permission. They claimed to own the name and the group, as well as preventing me and Howard from making a solo record because they said they owned our solo careers too. And so began Flo and Eddie with Zappa, and that's when we made our first Zappa album. We couldn't use our real names, Volman and Kaylan.
Were Volman and Kaylan's names not on the Zappa records at all?
Not the first
It
one.
was
Not the
just
first one.
Flo and
It
Eddie.
was
Right.
Fluorescent Leech and Eddie at that point. And interestingly enough, or not, the members of the Turtles that disbanded and flew in all different directions came back right afterward and sued us because we'd indemnified after getting the masters and everything. We'd owned everything, and if they had any other pending lawsuits against any other parties, it all came back to us, and instead of going, hey, these are our friends, they went, hell with it.
So they all got a lawyer, and the ex-Turtles came and sued me and Howard, and we bought them. We bought each of the Turtles out individually, and it cost me and Howard a lot of money, and we laid out the outlay, and then. So when we got the masters back in '74, we got the names Mark Volman legally and Howard Kaylan back in '74, and Flo and Eddie. We had the names Flo and Eddie going and decided to just keep them going until 1983.
It was fortunate, I think, that we didn't do this reunion thing too soon, because in looking back to, for instance, what the Byrds tried to do, or even what the Hollies tried to do, by taking it seriously, or what Eric Burden tried to do, let's see if we can milk it for a summer and be the Animals
Plus
again.
the masters. Every time somebody wants to use the Turtles versions of any of the records, they have to come to me and Howard.
We only got 2 minutes left, but as quickly as we can say, we'll say good night now and let them keep talking, because you said that they're asking you, a lot of these packages on television have re-recordings of people's hits, so they'll have people come in, Tommy Rowe perhaps come in and redo Sheila. I don't know
that
if he
happens
does.
all the time.
And you're never, and no Turtle
We haven't
songs.
ever done that. The Turtles, anytime somebody buys a Turtle oldie on one of, or any of the packages or any of our repackaging, it's never been re-recorded. It's something we've turned down.
Recorded, but unless they buy the ones that are on Rhino or on a legit label, they might wind up with 9th generation recordings of that first hit. They do have to be careful in what label they buy for those oldies packages.
As of the moment, the authorized ones are on Rhino, and then one cut on original sound, right?
Right.
What's the original sound cut? Happy Together?
Happy Together.
And then Heart Like a Wheel. They did. They came to Howard and I several years ago, that movie on Shirley Muldowney, and they wanted to use Happy Together, and they had to come and get permission from the Turtles to use the Turtles version.
It's nice. CBS also did the same thing, using it for a commercial.
Do you have publishing on any of that stuff?
Not on that one.
Not
On
that
any of the
tune,
hits?
but yes, on some of the hits we do.
So if people want to license them, just the songs for
Hey,
Honda commercials or
Call
something
us.
like that.
Make us an offer. Send us some steaks. We're easy.
Michael Mann wants to put you in Miami Vice.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Look, I'm already preparing. I haven't shaved for 5 years.
15. That's
We're
true.
going into earth tones next season, darker.
Is that true? They're going to subdue
Black car,
themselves?
yeah.
They're going to move into the desert, are they? The desert, you know what that is, don't you? Sand! That's all!
That's
Sand!
This is Sam Kinniston imitation.
It's a very good one, too.
Thank you very much. No overcoat.
And the reality of the business of what happens to a guys from high school after leaving high school and signing all the contracts we did is a story in itself. I mean, we had 7 managers in 5 years. We were constantly in one form of
Let's see, what,
litigation.
15%, 50%, that's 105%.
Yeah, we gave
It's the
away.
producers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Y'all are
unbelievable.
stuck
Why
in
is it
blue.
You guys are still speaking to each other, and the Everly Brothers aren't.
Yeah.
Well, the monkeys don't talk to each other either, but not, nobody will write the real story of what happened to these two.
She loves to watch.
We can't talk about it yet. We have.
She loves to watch.
We hope to be alive.
She loves to watch.
As the house stays havoc, little girl's heart, she watching Mr. Silver birthday copper clothes in the dark. Her other spot was fun, her exercise. She looks through the window into other girl's eyes. She loves to